Yet again, it's great to see you. Good afternoon, my name is Lucas Harth. Welcome to Al-Anon. For those of you who do not know what this is a meeting where you come for when you're suffering with a family member or a friend that has addiction. I'm a recovering addict and want to talk to you about the disease of addiction. I can remember the first time I got high at the age of 11. It was one of the most powerful experiences in my entire life because for the first time, I didn't feel anything. It was almost as if all the pain and suffering and loneliness had escaped me. I entered into this false reality where I never had to face my problems again. But the bad part was as soon as the chemical effects started to wear off, all these problems and this pain came back, only this time much worse. It was at that moment that the power of addiction took over. I had to have more. I found the cure to my pain and I never wanted to feel again. The disease of addiction runs everywhere and affects lots of our family members and friends, yet so many people don't comprehend the seriousness of it. It's going to be with addicts for the rest of their life, whether they're sober or not. To help explain this disease to you, I want to talk to you about what it does to the brain. I want to talk to you about how it impacts addicts and their loved ones, and how it feels to be completely powerless over a substance. So let's look at the brain. Inside the brain, you have what's called neurotransmitters, which are chemicals that send and receive information from the brain and the body. Drugs have a very similar trait in that when you introduce a drug into your body, it acts in the same way. So all of a sudden, as you introduce these foreign substances into your brain, they start to cause your brain to adjust and to produce less of its natural substances and start to depend more on these substances that you're entering into your brain. The problem is what we see what's called tolerance, which is over time, you start to build a dependency for these drugs, and your brain no longer can feel normal pleasures. The hardest part of it all is you go from one moment where you're getting high to have fun and enjoy yourself to where you're getting high to feel normal again. It's that scary. It's that powerful. But what does it do to the addict? Well, as a matter of fact, it changes everything beyond just the brain. It changes their behavior. Someone who you love, who may be very close to you, who may have never done something bad in their life now, is exhibiting violent behavior, verbal harassment, social distancing. It's so strong that it affects this entire country. So far in the United States, addiction and drug use has cost over $600 billion worth of damage, whether that be crime-related or job absenteeism, things along that line. There's only 3 possible outcomes for an addict: jails, institutions, and death. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, 18% of all prisoners in the United States were sentenced for some drug abuse-related offense. 18%. Now, like I said earlier, we only have 11.2% of our addicts and alcoholics actually get to receive treatment and potentially get help. But the scariest fact of them all is throughout the entire United States, 25% of all deaths are due to some substance abuse relation. That's a fourth of this nation's people that died because of some sort of substance abuse problem. This is a trend that is outrageous. But there's something one step further I want you to understand, and that is the degree of powerlessness that addicts feel to a substance. So it's very common for non-addicts to believe that addicts lack morals or lack willpower and can just stop whenever they so choose. That's not the case. It's a very serious and very complex disease that takes over the whole body. While it is partially genetic, it's the combination of the genetics and the repeated use that fosters this compulsive behavior. Now, over time, like I said, the brain becomes dependent, and it gets so bad that addicts are willing to do whatever it takes to escape the pain that they feel when the drugs wear off. So much so that they're willing to commit crimes, steal from their loved ones, or worse, sell their bodies for sex. Now, you still may not understand what it truly feels like to be powerless, so I have a little violent description that I want to talk to you about. So imagine you've been captured and you're about to be tortured. You have 2 options. Option A, you accept your punishment now and be tortured today and then walk away. Or option 2, you delay your punishment for 24 hours only to have your punishment be twice as worse the next day. Now, it may seem simple, right? Let's take option A. Let's get it over with. Let's get it done. In the mind of the addict, that pain, that torture is so great that we'll do anything to delay it. Even if that means doubling it and making it worse the next day, we want to run from that pain and that problem. And we always choose the second option. Addiction will take everything away from you until there's nothing left unless you face it head on. This is such a serious disease and affects so many people, yet not many people recognize the seriousness of it. Now that you understand how it affects the brain, how it can impact the addict and the ones around them, and what it feels like to be truly powerless, I hope you recognize this disease and understand the seriousness of it. There is still hope. Even though it is not curable, it is treatable. I have proof. I have fought the battle, regained control, and I have over 8 years of sobriety to prove it. Thank you.